That's why I sort of talk about people's perception. Actually, it doesn't matter. It took me a while to, and embrace is very much the wrong word, but understand that actually being a cancer patient, so you do need that little bit of extra help, and you shouldn't feel judged because you need it.
Hello, welcome to Breathe Strong. I'm your host, Rachel. Breathe Strong is a space for honest conversations, shared experiences, and real stories from people living with lung cancer and mesothelioma and those who support them. Before we begin, it's important to be clear that the conversations, stories, and views shared within this podcast are based solely on personal experiences. They are not intended to provide medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, and should not be relied upon as medical evidence or factual guidance. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional regarding any medical concerns or decisions related to your health and treatment. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy our podcast and find it beneficial. Well, welcome to our episode 2 of our podcast, Breathe Strong. You might remember that last time we talked about the impact of diagnosis. One of our patients has actually asked us and suggested a topic about holiday. So we all want to go on holiday. So I thought, what a great idea. So I'm delighted to say I'm joined again by Lesley, Charlie and Doug. They're with me today. So the feedback and comment from a patient was going on holiday can be very expensive due to insurance. Costs may be recovered if you've got a mesothelioma claim, but that's not the same for everybody, for sure. And looking about the logistics of going on holiday, where do you go on holiday? What hotels should you go in? So I just wanted to open up our conversation today about holidays. Can we even go on holiday when we've been given a diagnosis, for instance? So just to open up to my group here to see, have any of you been on holiday since you got diagnosed?
Absolutely.
I have, yes, as well. Yeah,
No, we have, but we haven't been on an aeroplane. We have our motorhome, so we've done mainly places in England and Wales where we've never been before.
Oh, nice.
So that's we try and get away, at least once a month.
Oh, lovely.
And it used to be obviously fitting it in between the 3 weeks for your treatment, so we could only go. But since I don't have treatment anymore, we go for longer periods. And next year we're hoping to go to France for a month and maybe twiddle down to Spain. And if it comes into 6 weeks, then 6 weeks it is.
Brilliant. And has any of you been abroad?
I have. So this year I went to Malta. A friend got married in Malta this year, and I went to Portugal. So right before my chemotherapy was starting. And now we're talking about the insurance side of things.
Yeah.
So for me, through my work, I have private healthcare. So I made a point of calling them before my first holiday to Malta, just to see if I was covered. And because obviously the private healthcare was taken out before diagnosis, they said yes, I was absolutely covered for all of it. The only thing that they said to be careful of was if I was sort of really poorly and travelling. So I guess end of life really. Then
Right.
But no, absolutely covered. For my holidays. So is it maybe a bit different for me because I've got that private healthcare?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm almost slightly jealous because I phoned my private healthcare provider, which I fortunately have via my wife's employment scheme. They won't cover me on holiday. I've phoned my travel insurance companies that I've got, connected with my bank accounts and things like that. They won't cover me for cancer while traveling. What they will cover, though, is normal holiday insurance type claims. So essentially, it's cause and effect for my policies. So, for example, if I lose my hand baggage or my luggage, that's covered. If I break my leg, that's covered under my policy whilst I'm travelling. What wouldn't be covered is if I had a cancer-related problem whilst travelling. So I don't have an example right now to give you, but ultimately, and I had a very long conversation with my insurance team. I got all the way back to the claims assessors in the background, and essentially, because of my pulmonary embolisms, my blood clots when I was diagnosed, I'm on anticoagulation treatment, so blood thinning treatment. And ultimately, I even went down to I might have a more complicated leg break, but would you cover that? And they said, yes.
Right.
So it's cause and effect. If I broke my leg falling off a curb, I'm still covered.
Okay, but it sounds like you had to do quite a bit of the investigative work.
Very much so. So I'm almost as slightly lucky. My job at work is connected with understanding insurance policies slightly in the military. And so I kind of knew to really dig down into my policy to understand what was and wasn't covered. But the long and short of it is I generally get a cancer insurance policy now. And I have to say they're expensive. But the flip side of that is if I was to have a problem overseas, that would be horrifically expensive and potentially even inhibit me getting home. So it is worth it.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah, it's something to think about. But it's not stopped you going on holiday, though.
absolutely not. And I'm for those of you listening, I'm giving a cheeky smile at the moment to Rachel. My diagnosis has given us a really different outlook on life. We've really prioritised differently. Prior to diagnosis, me and my wife were really work came first, life came second. Now we're the opposite. Opportunity comes first, and we have absolutely embraced travelling. And I mentioned in episode 1 that actually my targeted treatment allows us. I can take it worldwide. And we were actually this time last year, we'd just travelled to New Zealand for a 6-week holiday. So I really have travelled long haul, short haul, flights, etc. And yeah, absolutely live for today.
Brilliant.
I feel exactly the same. Definitely live for today, not for tomorrow, because you don't know, and nobody knows what's
Yeah.
going to happen tomorrow.
Do we want to know?
No, do we
No.
want to know? Exactly.
No, wake up in the morning, flex your arms. If you don't feel any wood, got another day.
Brilliant.
Definitely. I've got a little bit of advice if people are travelling though, if that's hopeful. So couple of bits. As I say, my job at work is basically administration realistically on behalf of the British Army. So used to moving 600 people at a time. But ultimately travelling with cancer. So a couple of really key bits. One is as simple as going to your doctor and getting a letter to say what drugs you're on and that they're prescribed. 2, keep your drugs in your hand baggage. Don't put them in the luggage. The reason being, if your luggage gets lost and you're stuck overseas without your prescriptive drugs, you've got a real problem. So definitely carry them in hand luggage. 3, this is more the practical side of actually travelling. Cancer patients are at higher risk of having thrombosis or blood clots.
Yep.
So when you're actually travelling, think about your hydration. So make sure you're drinking water, keep well hydrated. Also keep moving around. So whether you're on a train, a coach or a plane, actually at higher altitude you're at higher risk, but equally sitting still you're at high risk. So make sure that you do take those breaks. You know, the signs on the motorway saying stop
Yeah,
every couple of
yeah.
hours.
Mhm.
Believe
Definitely.
them. As a cancer
Yes.
patient, we're at higher risk of a lot of things. So make sure you take the time to move around, keep mobile, hydrate, move, and lower your risk of DVT or blood clots.
So maybe one of the things you could think about even is, you know, if you're going to be drinking more on a plane, for instance, and you're stuck in that seat by the window,
Yeah.
you've got to keep saying to people, "Can I get out? Can I get out?" Sit on an aisle seat, and then you can,
Yeah.
you know, get
Yes.
up and
Definitely.
yeah.
Yes.
I always have the aisle seat
Yeah,
now
so
and
do
wear
we.
the
Yeah.
socks as well.
Yeah.
As uncomfortable as they are, that it's
Yeah.
worth
It's
it.
worth it.
Yep.
Lower every risk you
I
can,
think they're all right
ultimately.
once you've got them on. Getting them on is the problem, isn't
And
it?
getting them off actually.
And they're not that comfortable, are they?
No,
Those
they
light socks,
really
but-
aren't. No,
No,
they're not at all.
they're
But it is worth it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think definitely one thing I would say to people is put everyone. It doesn't matter what everyone else thinks about you. So when you're putting your flight socks on or whatever you're wearing, be comfortable. Don't wear tight clothing other than your flight socks.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, all of those things. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you're putting your health first. Don't worry about what you look like. and don't worry about people, people's perception. It doesn't matter.
No.
No.
Staying as
Well,
healthy as you can.
That goes for every day. I
It
mean,
does.
I
Yeah.
haven't got them on today, but I've normally just got my joggy bottoms and a
Yeah. It's about
and a
being
tracksuit
comfortable,
top.
I thought you
isn't
were
it?
going
Yeah.
to say you haven't got your flight socks on today.
No, I haven't, funnily enough.
I also, the last couple of times I've, the 2 times I've flown this year, is I've actually had assistance at the airport as well, because I've generally been travelling on my own, and even though I'm actually going away at the end of this month, even though I don't feel like I need it, I'm still going to get it this time as well.
How did you do that?
Well, you just book it through your airline. So you can get assistance. That means you don't have to stand in line when you're going through security, because sometimes that can take forever. Oh, yeah, that's the sunflower
Oh, your
lanyards.
lanyard.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Sunflower Lanyard is basically, I think it's a charity in the background,
It is, yes.
but ultimately the sunflower emblem is for hidden disabilities.
Oh, okay.
So bits like that.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Well, they'll give you when I know that I've flown from Gatwick a couple of times now, and they give you a buzzer to be back at the allotted place where they'll take you to the plane. They give you the buzzer's got a sunflower lanyard on it.
Okay.
You can wear it around your neck if you want to, but yes, I think that's very useful, because you get very tired, and the walking between the actual terminal to your plane can be sometimes about 15-20 minutes,
long
can't
way,
it? So
yeah.
it's worth getting that
And
assistance.
do they give you? Can you get access to like the little buggies you see people
Oh
flying
yeah,
through
yeah,
the
yeah,
airport?
yes.
Okay, so
Codger carriers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you do the wave as you're going past everybody. Yes.
while we're talking about that, because I know for a while it took me. That's why I sort of talk about people's perception. Actually, doesn't matter. It took me a while to, and embrace is very much the wrong word, but understand that actually being a cancer patient, so you do need that little bit of extra help, and you shouldn't feel judged because you need it. And this lanyard, for example, helps me. So I'm quite happy to walk through. I can pick my bags up. I can do all of that stuff. I'm still relatively fit and healthy. But even just being able to sit in the disability seats, the sunflower lanyard stops you being asked why you're there. Because as a relatively young person still, I feel judged. And I've been asked sometimes by, I'm going to say older people, it doesn't have to be older people, but I've been asked sometimes to move, whereas actually now I put the sunflower lanyard on, I'm not. And it's just little bits like that where it just makes life a little bit easier.
And where did you get the lanyard from? How did you get
them.
that?
You can get them online, can't you?
Yeah.
There's also a badge that TfL does, which says "Please give up your seat," which is what I've got. You can apply for it. It doesn't cost you anything, and I found that really, really useful, because I'm still going to work every day, and sometimes you get really tired and you don't want to be standing. So make sure it's a bit like the ladies who are pregnant. Says baby on board, but this one actually says please give up your seat, or will you please give up your seat?
Yeah.
And most people generally
I think they do, even if you haven't got your badge on. We've found that we do travel when we do travel on the underground. If you're standing there hanging on to the railing for dear life, somebody will get up and give you a seat.
Yeah.
Most people are very good, but as you
That's
say,
helpful to know.
they don't
isn't it?
realise the hidden disability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other bits and pieces I've found quite useful, just while we're in this space, is Macmillan do a couple of bits. And the bit I'm holding up, again, doesn't go very well on a podcast, but I'm holding up a credit card size card that basically says, due to my cancer treatment, I need urgent access to a toilet. Please, can you help?
I have one of those as well.
I haven't got one, but
Yeah.
I have got a Kazi key, as I call
Yes.
it.
Yeah. I've got that one as well.
Yeah, the radar key.
The radar key.
All of these you can get online. So clearly the Macmillan card comes from Macmillan, and the radar key, again, Google radar key. I think it costs about £5 and it gets
Boots do
sent to
them
you.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Other pharmacies are available, I must say.
Yeah, other
They
charities
do it.
exist.
That's really helpful to know, though, because we often think going on holiday, you think about when you actually get on holiday, but actually it's about making sure you're all comfortable before you even.
It's actually getting to the airport or getting to your destination, really.
Yeah,
It's,
think through your journey, ultimately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I was thinking, because I'm going away going away at the end of the year. I was thinking, well, do I drive my car to the airport, or do I just get a taxi? And just even those things, just planning ahead.
Just get a
really,
taxi.
just get a taxi. Yeah, exactly. Just taking that pressure off
Yeah,
yourself.
take the stress out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I learnt this the hard way round. If you're going to a country that doesn't speak English or English isn't the first language, what you might also want to do is, so my treatment, one of the side effects is sometimes very short gut transit time and diarrhoea. And I got caught short, but luckily made it to a toilet. Think through before you go using Google Translate. And literally, I've genuinely typed this into Google Translate of I have cancer, I need to use your toilet. And Google translated it into the language. And it really, I was very close to
Where did you get
missing.
that card?
So this card is from Macmillan.
Oh,
Yeah, you
Macmillan's.
can
Yeah,
apply
yeah.
from
Yeah.
online. Yeah.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that bit about, if you're going to a foreign country, they won't recognise this or be
No,
able
they
to
won't know it,
necessarily
will
read
they?
it.
That's right.
And I genuinely, I mean, the restaurant were brilliant, but I was at the point of hot, sweating, like,
Yeah.
I'm being very open here, but and I just
Wow.
made it.
Gosh, you just don't think about these things, do
No.
you?
No.
I mean, I think as somebody that doesn't have cancer, I mean, I worry about going to the airport and getting parked. I'm rubbish at finding car parks and just no sense of direction. But I don't have to worry about anything else. And you just, for me, talking to my patients, I don't. This is really helpful. It's not things that I would have thought about.
Well, clearly on this occasion, I hadn't thought of that myself, hence why I'm sharing. But yeah, it's just those little bits
Just
that
little bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
And if you've got an early flight in the morning, stay at the airport the night before. Just all of those little things. Just take the pressure off yourself. Just
Yeah, we used to do that even before this
yeah.
when we went abroad. But
Did any of you tell your doctors that you were going on holiday or planning holidays?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And my
I
doctor.
haven't been abroad since, so so
But
we
you've
hadn't-
been away.
yeah, only
Yeah?
in this country. But then with the motorhome, I don't need to find a toilet.
But have you? Did you
Carry
tell
it with you.
Did you tell your doctor? Did you feel?
No, because it
No.
would take me a fortnight to get an appointment to see them. They're absolutely terrible, I'm afraid.
I had to ask mine when I finished my chemo, or just before my last chemo session. I asked mine if I would be okay to go on holiday, and I said where I was going, and it was going to be like an 11-hour flight. And he said, because I guess I'm fit and healthy, he said absolutely, you'd be absolutely fine to do that. And he very nicely says he didn't want to give me a scan before my holiday, so I don't have to worry about it as well, which was very nice of him. So yeah.
That's actually a bit of key information when you're doing holiday insurance. So yeah, scans. So my experience is if you're in the middle of just the way it works basically with travel insurance, if you're in the middle of waiting for some results, clearly to the holiday insurance company, we're higher risk because depending on what those results are, may depend on whether you go on your holiday or not. And holiday insurance, to be effective, you need to take it out when you book the holiday, not just before you travel. And it's that interim period of booking the holiday and getting on the flight. So we all think holiday insurance is about when we're in the country we're travelling to, but actually it covers you for cancellations. And the problem, if you've had a scan, you're waiting on results, then there's a higher risk of those results clearly coming back and telling you something, and you don't go on holiday. So it starts to put your premiums up.
Right.
So, and this literally, in my journey for New Zealand, I basically had about an 8-hour period at one point where I could have got holiday insurance. Clearly I missed it because I didn't know something else was coming. And then I had a bowel polyp on a PET scan. So we'd booked our holiday. I was trying to get holiday insurance. Waited. So we had the oncology appointment. We had the scan results coming back, and I was expecting it to be about, the lung cancer. And the PET scan doesn't just show cancer; it can show areas of activity in cells. On this particular occasion, it was a bowel polyp. But of course, that's another investigation.
Right.
And so I had to wait for the bowel polyp to be investigated, then for it to be biopsied, and then to get those results back, which basically took 10 weeks. And that's 10 weeks. I could have got travel insurance in those 10 weeks if I'd have tried, but it would have cost me a significant amount of money
Right.
because it's risk versus, the cost of the holiday. And in the end, we got the results. In fact, thinking through the dates, we got the results on the Wednesday for the biopsy, and we flew on the Saturday. And
Wow.
this was our 6-week trip to New Zealand, so it was a high risk, high reward strategy to wait. But yeah, so yes, if you're listening to this and you're in a lull and you've had your scans, you haven't got anything going on, and you know you've got a holiday, get your holiday insurance booked now.
Right, okay. Just one of the things that I know some patients have said to me, I've had a couple of phone calls actually from patients trying to book holiday insurance, and the companies are asking if they've got a terminal diagnosis. Is that anything? Have you come across that? Because that's caused quite a bit of distress.
Yeah, I have come across it, and it's now this interesting period of, because there's been so much fantastic movement in research and treatments. You've got stage 4 patients with technically an incurable disease, but that doesn't mean we're terminal. We were talking earlier about, yes, I do speak to my GP, and I very specifically speak to my oncologist if I know I've got a large trip coming up, and I make sure that, one, he's happy I'm travelling, and two, he writes it in my after visit letter, so that from the oncology team I've got, as long as he is happy, he basically writes, I can't remember the words, I'll look them up later, but ultimately he says, he does not use the words fit to fly, but ultimately he gives me the you're okay to travel
Right.
in writing.
Yeah, and my oncologist has said the same. He says, he goes, look, you probably won't be asked for it, but he goes, I'm happy to write it
Yeah.
for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's helpful to know. Yeah.
And it's as you say, it's actually triggering for cancer patients to get the, have you been given a terminal diagnosis? I know various charities are working in the background with cancer insurance holiday companies, and I get it from the insurance point of view, because again, it's that risk of how likely is it this person's going to have a problem. But as a person now with stage 4, I tend to go with the, it's incurable, but I'm under treatment and currently stable. And
Okay.
it tends to change the
Yeah.
terminology.
That's interesting you say that, Charlie, because I had a patient who rang me up saying that they'd been asked that question. They'd been asked the question about how likely do they think it is that they may become end of life in the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's horrific.
how can you ask somebody that?
You-
But
Ridiculous.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is.
So it's good
it's
to have your advice there.
Yeah, and I think it's important, if that's what you're getting from that particular company, pass that back to your oncology nurses. Pass it if you have any form of charitable support for your diagnosis, anything, pass it back, because I know I work for a cancer charity in the background, and it's one of the things that we actually strategically work with, is trying to change the narrative, trying to change the questionnaire that cancer patients at the front end get asked. Because like I say, that's triggering, and it really is triggering.
Yeah, I can imagine. It must be very distressing to ask that. One of the things that you talked about, Charlie, which I found good, was the advice about taking your letter with you, one of your clinic letters with your treatment on. One of the experiences I had with one of my lung cancer patients was she went on holiday and to this tiny little island in Greece, but I'd given her strict instructions. She had to go with all her clinical notes. She got really ill on that holiday. She was ill literally shortly after getting off the plane, ended up in this tiny village hospital. But they, at the time, it was faxing. They faxed the hospital I worked at and said, oh, we've got your patient here and she's on, it was immunotherapy, she's on immunotherapy and she's coming with these side effects. And between the hospital that was her treatment hospital and that tiny Greek island hospital, they treated her and got her better.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have been able to do that if she hadn't had that
No.
letter.
Yeah, and
Wow,
it's things
okay,
like
yeah.
your, for example, for me, it's my NHS numbers on the letter. The
Yeah.
doctor's details are on that letter. So I get my this particular letter I'm talking about, I get it from my GP surgery, because it's when you're carrying drugs between different countries, and sometimes it may be worth checking that that drug is okay in that country. So, for example, if you know you're on a opioid pain relief, so if you're on certain pain reliefs, they may not be legal in other countries. So it's worth speaking to your care team to find out.
That's
Mm.
that's very useful actually.
Yeah.
Because I usually just print off all the medications that I've got from like my GP surgery and also from my chart because I use my chart. But yeah, it's worth knowing about. I will do my research on that. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
Doug in his motorhome doesn't need to worry about that, do you? Doug?
No, I don't. No.
You
I-
just go and enjoy yourself in the UK.
Yeah, well, we've done 43 different countries
Oh wow!
in our before life, before COVID.
Oh, okay. So
BC.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry?
Yeah.
BC.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you
So,
say it was COVID that put a stop on you?
Yeah, probably originally, yeah, and then of course this happened. But yeah, we've done New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
It's a lovely country, but we've done a lot of long haul: India, China, Japan,
So you kind of feel that
Thailand, Cuba.
you've done.
Yeah, I think so. Well, actually, before COVID came in, excuse me, in the November, we were in India, and we took out a year's visa because it was easier than keep messing about, because we were going to go back in the May the next year, but then of course COVID came in, and that India trip was our last one.
Wow.
So we haven't been back since. But I'm not that keen on flying anyway.
Okay.
So, and actually, the original oncologist said don't fly. It's extra pressure on your lungs, and it's this and that. But I always had a cough whenever I got on a plane or came off of a plane. So I thought, is it worth the risk?
It's interesting you say about the don't fly advice, because I know originally when I was diagnosed again, because I had active blood clots, the advice has got better. So for those getting diagnosed now, where you are now and where you are in a few months' time are not necessarily the same place. The dial can come up. Unfortunately, it can also go down, but the dial can come up. So when I was first diagnosed, I couldn't go to altitude. So the flight, once the blood clots had cleared and I got, they're clear, I've remained on treatment because they may come back. But actually, ironically, that helps them when I am flying. So ironically, I'm potentially less risk of a blood clot on a plane than actually normal
Right.
passengers. But yeah, it's that interesting slight nuance to, but when you're diagnosed, you'll get told some things. If it's crucial to you to go travelling, keep speaking to your oncology team. I don't mean bug them, but situations change.
Yeah.
So keep talking to your care team, because believe me, they will also want you to be living your life to the full.
Yeah.
So yeah, and as I say, the story changes as the diagnosis. It doesn't always go down; it can come up.
Yeah, and I think it's about having that hope, isn't it? If you're a person that likes to go on holiday and that's something that you've done before cancer came along, to be able to have that feeling that actually I will go on holiday again. I might not be able to go right now, as you said, Charlie, but I will be able to go at some point, and I can go safely and it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just helpful to be able to have that.
Don't know whether this is helpful to talk about now or not, but I know, I speak to other cancer patients as well. And it's really interesting because I will be open and honest. I've gone on lots of travel since my diagnosis. One of the worst periods for me is immediately before I travel, because something inevitably changes. And I don't know whether that's, so for example, that bowel polyp was immediately before our lifetime trip to New Zealand. I've had various other things. I ended up in A&E in August when we were about to fly again. And it just tends to be, I think potentially because the stress of a trip is coming up, it sort of gets
Wow.
on top, and you're looking to make sure you are fit to fly, because there's almost that kind of personal stress of, oh my God, am I
Am I
that
gonna be
self-doubt,
all right to get on the
am I
plane
fit
or-
to leave the
Yeah.
country? But it's way outweighed for me by still being able to actually enjoy once you're there.
Yeah.
And so I just sort of give that as, if someone's at home, because as I say, I know certain patients that I've chat to won't book something because they're scared it doesn't happen. Whereas I kind of go, well, there's always a risk it might not happen, but if you don't book it, it definitely won't happen. So try and live your life as normally as you can, but be aware and risk mitigate. Take those precautions. Book the holiday insurance, please,
Yeah.
and speak to your med team.
Yeah, and I booked my flights this time. I paid the extra and I booked flexible flights, so
Yeah.
that if I had to cancel, I'll get all my money back. So,
Okay, that's
yeah.
good to
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Because I think sometimes patients, when you get a diagnosis of lung cancer or mesothelioma, they're scared about the future, and especially if they're thinking about booking a fabulous trip, but it's not till the following year or 6 months later. There's all that angst, as you were saying, about, am I going to be able to go? What's the future going to look like in 6 months' time? So having flexible flying must help take some of that worry
Oh
away.
yeah, absolutely. Because then it's you're spending a lot of money anyway on the flight because you want to make it as comfortable as you can, but then it's like like you said, something at last minute might happen. And also, with the hotels and things, I've booked ones that can be cancelled at the last minute. So
Yeah.
everything is, I've covered my bases basically.
It's definitely worth that little bit extra up front. And
Absolutely.
I get it. Cancer's bloody expensive.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it is bloody expensive. So to travel with cancer, but it's like you say, it just removes some of that stress.
Yeah.
So if you are able to do bits like that, and I would say I've actually had one long haul flight I could not make. I was due to go to a friend's wedding in South Africa in Easter, and actually I had surgery instead. And when I spoke to the airline that I'd booked my tickets through and explained the situation, they were absolutely brilliant. They
that's good.
stopped my flight, put the money that I'd paid for the flight on one side.
Right.
So, and basically gave me a code. And this was for me and my wife's flight, not just mine. So we put the money on hold ultimately. And then once I was fit to fly, I recontacted the same company and they rebooked the flights. And actually, I didn't even have to go back to the same destination because clearly I was travelling to a wedding. The wedding had happened.
Right.
We were able to redivert to a
Oh, that's
destination we
good.
wanted to.
Yeah, that's really good.
So in a way, it's better to be upfront and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
tell everyone. Would you
Yeah.
Have
say?
those conversations. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I did have to share a doctor's letter, but yes, ultimately. So certainly tell the truth.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
And when you get on your holiday, was there anything that you found different about being on a holiday? I don't know. Did you have to be careful about being out in the sun, for instance, or
Yes. Yeah.
drinking alcohol? And what's been different? Would you say?
Definitely the sun. I used to be, I love being in the sun and I used to tan really, really easily. Whereas now, since I've been having treatment, my skin's really, really sensitive in the sun. So, wear the factor 50, 30, 50. Make sure if you're going to a sunny destination, make sure you've got a hat on. Just be. I mean, all the things that you should do anyway, regardless of whether you're ill or not. But yeah, just be and not go out in the midday sun. All of the
Mad dogs and Englishmen.
Exactly, yes. But all of
Just sit in the bar instead.
sit in the bar instead. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
With your glamorous wide-brimmed hat.
I've got a few of. I have got a few of those
Dripping
now.
in factor 50.
Yeah. It is dripping. Yeah. Literally.
I'm the same as you
Yeah.
now. Absolutely, they're realistically precautions that we should all take in the sun. But when you've got cancer or you've had cancer, you really pay attention to it because those UV rays. So wide brim hats, absolutely factor 50.
Yeah.
And I'm someone that also tans quite easily,
Yeah.
and I still do actually. So I
Yeah.
still pick up a tan.
Just takes a
But-
bit longer now.
Well, and also it's
And does it
not
matter?
my
No, it doesn't matter, does it? No.
and it's not my aim when
No.
I'm on holiday.
No.
So that's the bit. If you are a sun worshipper, you might want to rethink that ultimately.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it's about I want to be active, and so taking precautions while I'm
Yeah.
I love the water, absolutely love the water. But as you say, actually, one of the things to think through is if you don't swim or spend a lot of time in water in the UK, and if one of the side effects of your treatment might be skin conditions, make sure you've got precautionary cream with you. So again, if you speak to your GP or your lung cancer nurse specialists, they might be able to advise you on stuff to take with you in case you have a problem. So yeah, definitely think through what you're going to be doing on holiday and what you might want to mitigate with.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're all saying that talking to your oncologist and your lung cancer nurse has been really helpful and something that you would
Absolutely.
advise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going
Yeah,
forward.
Especially the creams. I mean, I use them every day anyway because of me itchy bits. Yeah, and they are. I mean, I've had a couple of BCCs removed. One on there. I've just had one on my back last week, or on my side here. And I'm not really a sun worshipper. I very rarely take my shirt off. You know, and but you should.
Yeah.
Before I go out in the garden, I lather up.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in this country,
Yeah.
just be
Yeah,
you've got to be
true.
careful.
And the sun don't have to be strong.
No, it doesn't. It
You know,
doesn't.
it comes through them clouds.
Yeah.
I was going to say I've got a particular smartwatch, and it tells me what the UV levels are, and you'd be absolutely amazed.
God.
Even in the
wow,
UK.
really?
I've got a
Okay.
smartwatch. It tells me the time.
But also
Wow.
your phones, when you look at the weather
Yeah.
apps on your phone, one of the things is generally a UV.
Yeah.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
and it changes
Okay.
clearly wherever you are in the world. So if you're looking, like you say, actually the UV in the UK, you do still need to take some protection.
Yeah,
but
we're getting
yeah.
hotter here, aren't we, in the
Yeah.
UK?
I mean,
So
Yeah.
we
I
are.
wear a hat here a lot
Yeah,
more than I
we
used
do.
to, actually. In the summer, I was wearing a hat all the time.
Okay. And any other sort of things that you think are important? I mean, we've come up with some really good stuff. Anything else that you think might be important for patients to consider if they're going on holiday? Any suggestions that you may have or experiences that you want to share?
No, I think what Charlie was saying about your drugs, because a lot of countries you can't take opiates into them,
Yeah.
and if you're on medication that's got that, you've got to speak to your team and get something different if
Yeah.
you can,
Yeah.
or take a
Choose a
risk.
different destination,
I was about to
maybe.
say, yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
choose
Yeah,
this. You don't want to
because-
end up in some prison like
In a
Bridget
jail.
Jones, do you?
No.
And it does happen.
Yes.
Yeah, gosh, yeah.
I mean, genuine people.
Yeah.
You've just gone there and, you've got a bag of something or a little packet of tablets in your bag. It don't take long. And they just don't understand, do they, a lot of the foreign countries?
No. And they don't have this, quite a few of the countries, particularly Asian countries, don't have the same treatments that we have in this country. So,
Yeah.
Again, they wouldn't understand that, would they?
No.
Okay.
I think there's also bits that it's worth thinking about. So, for example, and again, other drugs are available, but taking precautions. So, like the cream, taking with you, you might not need it here, but you might need it overseas. So, things like dehydration tablets, if your medication allows you to take them. So, no, I actually can't because of the anticoagulants. But if you haven't got that problem, you might want to take. I'm trying to think what they are. Rehydration tablets, so diorolite,
Oh,
etc.
yeah.
As I say, other.
You take your electrolytes.
Yeah, electrolytes, thank you.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
electrolytes with you. I've got the little sachets that you can take with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which and I'm sort of going to do the same with like collagen little
Yeah.
sachets as well.
Yeah.
Just taking little things like that, which I'm sure things like that will be fine to take
Yeah.
everywhere.
And paracetamol and loperamide and things like so.
Yeah,
Imodium,
gosh,
ultimately
yes.
brand name.
Yeah.
But yeah, bits like that, because when you're stuck in a foreign country, you might not be near a pharmacy. There may be language barriers, etc. And just whatever you feel you might need. I mean, sounds like I take a medicine case. I don't, but it's thinking through that, just making it so that you can actually enjoy your holiday.
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't wanna-
Prepare for the worst.
Yeah,
and
you
then
don't wanna be
don't
worried
need
about,
to worry,
oh,
do you?
It's left me pills behind or
carrying all
something.
the extra bits and pieces with you so you can have
Yeah.
a good holiday.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Be over prepared, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
great advice, everyone. Well, I hope you've all found that very useful and beneficial. I've certainly learned things myself about holidays. So we're going to end now and say goodbye and invite you to join us back for episode 3. And yeah, see you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.